All right, so if you already have a pool and you might be thinking, what's the difference between building new or remodeling, right? So I'm gonna give you a quick deep dive on everything you need to know, things you should consider when remodeling a pool, everything from simple facelifts to problems you may encounter as a builder. So let's take a look at this project here in Covina, California. So when you get to a remodel, you want to make sure that you understand the scope. Do you want simple coping, tile, plaster, meaning we knock off the old finishes, put some new finishes, or do you want something more intrusive, meaning we're changing the shape of it, we're lifting the deep end, adding some benches, features, or steps. In this case, with the Covina project, we learned a very hard lesson. Whenever you come out and look at a pool, this thing was completely green like a swamp. We couldn't see the bottom of it. By the time we drained the pool and demoed it, we realized that the entire shell was cracked in half. So going from a simple facelift remodel turned into a big project where we essentially built a new pool within the shell of the old pool. So let me show you how we got there. Wanted to follow the design matching with the home. Usually have a French chateau, contemporary vibe. We wanted the pool to be an extension of that. In this area, we have expansive soils, so all the concrete was different levels. We couldn't really tell what the finished grade was of the pool. One side of the pool was actually 3 inches higher than the other side. So right away, I knew that something was compromised with the engineering of the shell. So this pool was probably built early 60s, or late 50s. Either way, we found the easiest solution that the homeowner would save the most amount of money and still get what they wanted in the end. So when you look at the pictures, you'll see that we had a shell, and instead of ripping out the entire existing pool, we decided to make the pool within the old pool. So we added rebar, epoxied into the old shell, broke the shell in the middle for drainage, and essentially built an entire new pool within the hole that we had of the previous. So if you ask yourself, does it cost more money to build new or remodel? It's always more money to build new, right? When you remodel, you at least have a hole, you have the shell, the shotcrete, and the plumbing. One tip for you builders, if you are going to do a remodel, I highly recommend you gut out all the plumbing, new suction lines, return lines, lighting, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to warranty that pool for the lifetime of that project. So we rip everything out. Essentially what you're looking at is an entirely new pool. We went very simple on the finishes, pour in place gray concrete coping, minimal deck around the pool. This is top cast number 3. We did a mosaic tile across the edge and just simple entry steps here on the shallow end, going from 3 feet down to 10 feet. So this is a very old pool. Nowadays, most people cut off at about 8 feet. But if you look at the finishes, it all blends together nicely. The house had an existing wood deck. We wanted the pool area to be an extension of that. So we ensured that we made the width of the concrete to match what the lines of the wood deck. So if we saw the line from the existing deck and said, hey, eventually we're going to want to have a walkway here, so that's where we put the deck, and this was built after the fact. In the middle of this, we have a existing jacuzzi. This is one of those jacuzzi. We don't have one in the pool. As you can see, this is a pool only. So we wanted to make it easy to get in here, and then wrapping it with little retaining walls, as well as surrounded with some seating areas. So if you look here, you have smooth stucco with a simple wood bench, simple fire pit, along with turf. Now this family, they're avid dog lovers like us. So even the dogs got somewhere to hang out. You check out their little house. They can hang out in there, enjoy the party like everybody else, make them part of the family. So this project here, it is a remodel, but realistically it was an entire new build, complete with new equipment, new plumbing, electrical, gas, and as well as turf and hardscape. So you can add a lot of simple things to your project to really make it pop. In this case, we have a very large pool only, but we also have an entertainment area that is not really expensive, and you can do it yourself. So if you look at the finishes, we got simple columns made out of block with smooth stucco, a couple benches that are 2x8 planks that have been stained and sealed, a fire pit made out of block with the gas line running to it, and then some planter walls along the deck here. So all this stuff is pretty simple to do, not very expensive, and it's a great enhancement to any pool project. So a lot of homeowners ask me, do I need permits when remodeling? Well, it all comes down to what's the scope of work. If you're doing a simple facelift, you got to think about it. Somebody already built that pool, somebody paid for that permit. If you're changing just the coping, the tile, the plaster, you don't need permits in most cities. You may need a demo permit in certain counties, but for the most part, if you're leaving the shape alone and it's a simple facelift, no permits required. If you're doing any type of structural work, new rebar, shotcrete, new equipment, new utility runs, new equipment, then definitely I would recommend that you pull permits for that project. But for the most part, you're free and clear on simple remodels like this. So now with all the regulations and restrictions on water consumption, a lot of people are transitioning to turf. In this case, you'll see that where normal projects have a lot of hardscape around a pool, you're used to seeing a lot of concrete. The more modern, contemporary designs incorporate more greenery into the project. So turf is a great option. In this case, it's pet turf with all the draining around the decking. It lightens up the project a lot. Makes it feel cooler actually with the UV protection and the luster control. So this is Smart Turf here, Pet Premium, but it brings a great pop to a project that's essentially a lot of blacks, whites, and grays. The plaster finish on this pool is just simple white plaster. Nothing expensive. It's actually the least expensive plaster option on the market. And as you can see, the blue is very inviting, deep, and it doesn't give you that commercial pool type of vibe. So a lot of builders in the past, they would try to put the equipment as close as possible to the pool. Reason being is the shorter the distance between the pool and the equipment, the least expensive it would be to plumb your pool. So if you have 30 pipes running to your pool, you want to shorten that distance as much as possible. But the bad part is it doesn't matter what equipment you get, they're kind of an eyesore. So unless you want to hide it with a sound wall, or in this case we did a wood wall to accent and match the house, but you look around the back and it'd be a whole different show if we didn't cover it up. So this project, they had an existing heater. Their filter was shot, their pump was shot. We did all new electronics. We kept their heater because it was functioning. So when you do a remodel, you assess the functionality, the condition of the equipment, and if they don't need to change it, you don't need to spend the money to do it. So in this case, we gave them a new salt cell. This generates a chlorine for the homeowner. Brand new filter, a cartridge filter for ease of maintenance, a variable speed pump, color LEDs, and a timer clock. This is a master temp 400K BTU heater. It looks like it's 3-4 years old, but it still had plenty of life left. These are about $3,600 to $5,000 installed with the gas line. So if it's working, there's no need to spend the money.